Change it if it's working. Schrader got in. Touchdown. Cody Schrader, as Cook is going to take off. I know you love this part of his game, Aaron. That's a touchdown for Missouri. Brady Cook being decisive.
He wants the Missouri Tigers to win. And if that means he gets to play quarterback and we win, great. If that means Sam Horn plays quarterback, great. At the end of the day, Brady just wants us to win.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Earning Our Stripes. I'm Brock Gordon.
And I'm Benjamin Duncan.
On a victorious Thursday, a week ago, Mizzou defeated South Dakota 35-10. Ben, how you doing this week?
Not too bad, not too bad.
And that is good to hear. Tigers win 35-10 over the South Dakota Coyotes. 1-0, Ben. 1-0 on the year. Starting off on a good note.
Yes, sir, indeed.
Do you want to start with the notes for the game, or do you want to go into miscellaneous Mizzou news before?
Let's do the miscellaneous stuff that I had wrote down.
All right. Go ahead there. Miscellaneous.
In the NFL, Tyler Beatty signed with the Broncos practice squad.
Keep going.
Mizzou Volleyball beat Northern Kentucky 3-0, but then followed that up with a 3-0 loss to number 3 Louisville. And Mizzou Soccer lost 5-0, lost 5-0 to Nebraska.
They also
and then
KU 2-2.
They had a 2-2 draw with Kansas. And then finally, the random stuff that I had, former Mizzou quarterback Chase Daniel announced this week that he is retiring from the NFL and starting his media career working on air on the NFL Network with his new show Chasin' It and co-hosting the Athletic Football Show.
Well, good for Chase.
So,
go
shout out to Chase.
That I sent you on Twitter.
All right. Then the stuff that Brock sent. We have a picture of the Kansas versus Illinois in football next week from the Luther Burden fan page, and it's to a picture from a screenshot of a YouTube video where it says, "Two dummies fighting." Next up, in the SEC quarterback rating in Week 1, Brady Cook was near the bottom, but he was still higher in quarterback rating than Carson Beck and Jaden Daniels. But Joe Milton, Peyton Thorne, KJ Jefferson, Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart, and Connor Wiegman were above them.
All those quarterbacks also played easier teams and did not get rotated out.
Yes. Brady Cook has been named Mizzou's quarterback number 1. Asked Drinkwitz if they ever discuss holding back on off-season game plan in early season games. Answer is a definitive no. We didn't save anything. Said at 28-10 game plan changed a little, had to focus on winning the game. From Power Mizzou, no or between Brady Cook and Sam Horn on the Week 2 depth chart for Mizzou. Eli Drinkwitz talks in 4 minutes, but looks like the Tigers officially will have quarterback number 1. Drinkwitz said Mizzou will change long snappers on field goals this week. Said they still have confidence in Harrison Mevis, but issues need to be addressed. And Drinkwitz says ticket sales for this weekend are ahead of where they were for last week.
But you have not
finally
gotten to the most important news of them all off the field for the Tigers.
Finally, we were wondering where Dave Matter was going after he left the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. And finally we have some news, but Dave Matter has now become the Assistant Director for Communications and Storytelling in Mizzou football. Let's go, Dave.
Attaboy, Dave. That's a hell of a job to get, by the way. Hell of a job.
I feel like that'd be something Brock would be gnawing at the bit to get right there.
God, you have no idea. But I probably wouldn't get it because, I don't got a college degree. So... All right, well, without further ado, let's get into breaking down this game, shall we?
Yes.
All right, well, the bright side... hang on, but before I get into it, Ben, go ahead and guess. How many fellow Missourians, true sons and daughters of Missouri, do you think attended this game?
We're going to go...
Without guessing, or with guessing, not looking it up.
52,000.
Not too far off. 50,543, which is the largest home opener crowd since 2019.
Sounds about right.
So, good start. Hopefully we can improve this week. It is a Saturday. Tickets are still going pretty low for this upcoming game against the Blue Raiders. And I will have your Know Your Enemy here later on. But Ben, you have South Dakota's line. I have Missouri's notables here. For Mizzou, Brady Cook, 17 of 21, 172, and a touchdown through the air. Sam Horn, 3 of 5, 54 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, which the interception was not his fault. It bounced up off the wide receiver and was picked off. Cody, the Schrader, 18 carries, 138 yards, 1 touchdown. So immediately... yeah, there's your guy on the ground right there for the Tigers.
Yes, sir.
Nathaniel Pete, 14 carries, 52 yards, 1 touchdown. Probably shouldn't use him as a running back as much. He showed that he was much better as a wide receiver. Brady Cook, 3 carries, 17 yards, and that touchdown that you heard there in the open. Both him and Schrader had touchdowns along with Nathaniel Pete. Luther Burden, 7 receptions, 96 yards, 1 touchdown. Mekhi Miller, 2 receptions, 49 yards, and a touchdown. Those were all your touchdowns for the Tigers. Burden's touchdown came off a screen from Sam Horn, and that is the future of Mizzou football right there, folks. Sam Horn to Luther Burden. And it looked pretty good, too. Harrison Mevis was over 2 on field goals, but 100% on extra points. If you watch the game at all, the field goals weren't really his fault. The laces were out. So they sailed a little bit. As you heard Ben say, they are trying a new long snapper this week instead. Wouldn't be surprised if they also try a new holder as well. Marvin Burks Jr. led the team in TFLs and sacks. He had 3 TFLs and a sack. Johnny Walker Jr. and Gaddy both had half a sack. Johnny Walker Jr. was very impressive in this one. And Mizzou never had less than a 95% chance to win this game at any point during the time on the field. Ben, your thoughts and your breakdowns of the game.
I hadn't really seen much of any of it, so I didn't know if that Sam Horn interception was a really bad one or not. But I'm glad to hear that it was just it bounced off someone and they got it, instead of just throwing it straight to him or something. Cody Schrader is exactly what I was hoping for, and I hope that they continue to use him exactly like they used him in this game. Maybe even let him run the ball some more.
Well, we'll get to that and my scouting report and keys to the game for Mizzou here and Know Your Enemy after a little bit here. But I do believe you have South Dakota and Mizzou's overall team stats for this game, correct?
Yes, I do.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Ben.
Would you just want me to do the Mizzou stuff?
No, do South Dakota. I went through the normal stuff for Mizzou. So
okay. Let's see, but we'll go through South Dakota's. South Dakota quarterback Aiden Booman went 15-25, 148 yards, and 1 touchdown. South Dakota's rushing was led by Travis Thies with 17 carries and 34 yards.
Mizzou's defense stuffed the run all game long.
Yeah. Team total rushing yards for South Dakota was only 46. So he was basically it. Receiving-wise, Jack Martins had 8 receptions for 81 yards. Carter Bell, 4 for 39. And then their 1 passing touchdown was to Mike Mansoray, 1 reception for 6 yards and a touchdown. South Dakota, their leading tackler was Shahid Barros with 7 total tackles, 6 solo, and a pass defensed. Micah Roan and Brendan Webb shared a sack, and Micah Roan also had a 1.5 TFLs.
Yep.
Blake Holden had 2 TFLs, and Miles Harden was the one that got the interception off of Sam Horn.
Which, as I said, it bounced up into the air and was picked off.
South Dakota kicking, 1 for 1 from field goal, and that was it. South Dakota punting, Tyler Ebel, 5 punts for 215 yards, averaging 43 and 1 inside the 20. Mizzou's punting, Riley Williams, 2 punts, 80 yards. Harrison Mevis, as Brock said, 0 for 2 in field goals, but 5 for 5 in extra points. Luther Burden had 2 punt returns for 18 yards. Kick returns were shared between Chris Abrams-Drain and Nathaniel Pete.
Which I think having Pete as the kick returner is probably the best place for him. I know there was a lot of hype when he transferred here from Stanford, but at the same time, you have the best best D2 running back of all time transferring in at the same time. You're not going to be as good as him. And that's showing right now.
Top 5 leading tacklers for Mizzou were Johnny Walker Jr., Josh Landry, Ennis Rakestraw Jr., Tyron Hopper, and Marvin Burks Jr. And leading in receiving was obviously Luther Burden, 7 receptions, 96 yards, and a touchdown, followed by Mekhi Miller, 2 receptions, 49 yards, and a touchdown, and Nathaniel Pete, 2 receptions for 34 yards. Theo Weiss only had 3 receptions, 17 yards, and really nothing much after that.
Nathaniel Pete is a great gadget player for Mizzou.
Yes.
He's a perfect gadget player. He needs to get moved over to like a slot wide receiver, and he'd be pretty good. I already took care of rushing for Mizzou.
At rushing, it was the Cody Schrader game, and passing. Did you already go over that, Brock? Yeah.
Yep.
But that was the stats from this past game.
All right, time to hand out our EOS stripe. So which Tiger earned his stripe this week? That's what we're going to hand out instead of our player of the game. Instead of saying that, we're going to say which Tigers earned their stripes, 1 on offense and 1 on defense. Ben, go first with the offense.
Easily Cody Schrader.
18 carries, 138 yards, and a touchdown. I have to agree with you on that one. In my mind, the only other one that was even a leading contender was Brady Cook.
Yeah.
For having 2 total touchdowns, but it's easily the shredder. My stripe that I'm handing out this week on offense, it goes to him. On defense, I'm going Johnny Walker Jr.
I am the exact same with you on that one, man.
Because he really balled out, showed why he is a starter. I'm excited for this Tigers team going forward this year. The only touchdown they gave up was off the interception, so the defense had a short field. So I can't be too mad at the defense on that one. So there you go. 35-10. It should have been 41-10. Tigers beat the Coyotes. Ben, it is now time to know your enemy this week. Powered by BCardEntertainment.com. For the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders, they hail from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Their head coach is Rick Stockstill, who has been the head coach at Middle Tennessee State since 2006. He has a 109 and 104 record with the Blue Raiders, with a 4-6 record in bowl games during that time span. He also has a Sun Belt Conference championship. Blue Raiders lost to Alabama last week, 56-7. They run a constant 4 wide receiver set on offense, no tight ends, with a quarterback and running back in the backfield. They had 35 passes to 26 rushing attempts last week. They are an air raid offense. Starting quarterback for the Blue Raiders is Nicholas Vatillo. He was 21 for 38, 127 yards, 1 passing touchdown, and 1 interception. He also had 6 carries for 16 yards, and he was sacked 3 times against Alabama. Leading running back for the Blue Raiders is Jakail Middlebrook. He had 8 carries for 38 yards, no touchdowns. He also had an interception for 21 yards. Jaden Creedle is the starting running back for the Blue Raiders. He leads them in receptions last week as he had 4 receptions for 25 yards. Starting wide receivers are DJ England Christholm, Jeremy Tate Jr., Eli Metcalf, and Javonte Sherman. All 4 of them combined for 7 receptions for 39 yards. Bryce Bailey caught the only touchdown for the Blue Raiders last week. So an air raid offense for the Blue Raiders. On defense, they have a 4-3 defense, 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers. Their defense combined for 72 tackles last week against Bama and got to the quarterback 2 times as Parker Hughes and Jonathan Butler were the 2 who sacked them, both linebackers. So the Tigers have to worry about some blitzes and have said as much this week as they prepared the running back to help on blocks. Ladies and gentlemen, your enemy this week, the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders. That is my scouting report on them. So Mizzou's going to win. Air it out up top. They've got a weak secondary. Get it to the point where you can start pounding that ball inside with Cody Schrader, but got to watch out for that constant pressure that the Blue Raiders bring all the time. On defense, just beware that pass there. That's their strong suit. Running game's not that great. O-line's a little faulty. Mizzou can easily get to the quarterback quite a bit, especially with the front 7 that Mizzou has, and I think they'll have no trouble doing so. I think this might be a feast for Rackshaw and Johnny Walker this week. Also look to have Tyrone Hopper with a pick perhaps this week as well. The 2 is a little bit of a gunslinger at quarterback. He forced some balls last week that he was able to get away with once Alabama had it in grasp. So there you go. The Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders and my scouting report on them for this week. Expect that every week here on EOS. Ben?
A little bit to add on to that, ESPN currently has the matchup predictor with Mizzou winning the game at 89.7% and Middle Tennessee at 10.3% chance of winning. Game time weather is said to be 94 degrees this Saturday. And they have the line at Mizzou minus 20.5. And the over-under at 48 from ESPN.
Continue here, my guy. I'm looking something up.
Let's see. But going into the Alabama game for Middle Tennessee, they had won their past 4 against San Diego State, FIU, FAU, and CLT.
That's Charlotte, by the way.
Yeah.
This matchup between the Tigers and Blue Raiders is the 3rd all-time. The series is currently split 1-1. The last time these 2 played was 2016. Middle Tennessee State won 51-45 in a shootout. Previous to that, Mizzou had won in 2003, 41-40. So this is a rubber match between the 2. Hopefully the Missouri Tigers can pull off the victory this time against the Blue Raiders, who are coming off a crushing defeat to Alabama, 56-7. Ben, time to play the over-under. You ready?
I am ready.
Over-under carries for one Mr. Cody Schrader is currently set at 13.5.
Over.
Sacks by the Mizzou defense, 2.5.
Over.
Interceptions thrown total in the game, so by both teams, 1.5.
Over.
Time of possession battle, Mizzou with 25 minutes of offense. Over or under?
Over.
And finally, Luther Burden, 85 yards receiving.
Over.
All right. right, it's time to get to our predictions for this matchup. Ben, go first.
Let's see.
Air raid style, that is the Blue Raider offense versus the much more ground and pound, dink and dodge type of offense, the spread offense that Mizzou runs.
We're going to do Mizzou 42.
Oh, hang on. My bad. I meant give us your keys to the game first.
Oh. I mean, if we lock up the air raid from Middle Tennessee, then we should be okay.
I don't think you understand what keys to the game are, but okay, I've got you. My keys to the game, first for Middle Tennessee State, you got to find some way to shut down Mizzou's running game.
Yeah.
Mizzou is very good at running the football, as evidenced last week when they outgained themselves running compared to passing. You have to try and shut down the Tigers. However, when you try to shut them down, that's when they'll hit you with the screen passes, a Mizzou staple that they have. Mizzou has a lot of shifty wide receivers. You got to try and shut that down if you're Middle Tennessee State. And even if you're able to do that, you got to watch out. Brady Cook has the ability to bomb it down the air on you, and they have them speedy wide receivers that'll beat you over there. When you're on the ball trying to score, you just got to try and watch out for that defense. You got to protect your quarterback a little bit better than you did against Alabama. When Alabama sacked Middle Tennessee State, they did not send that much of pressure. They were just able to get to the ball. Bama's defense is not as good, Bama's defense is a little bit better than the Tigers, but not by much. Mizzou will also pressure a lot more than Middle Tennessee State will. For the Tigers, you got to watch out for the blitzes. Middle Tennessee State loves to blitz. However, at that same time, that also leaves them exposed in the secondary. You got to hit them with some quick passes, make them commit more to the pass. Once that happens, start running that ball down their throats. Also for Mizzou, you've got to make sure that Harrison Mevis starts making his field goals. Because if you keep missing them, eventually that's going to start hurting you when you get into SEC play, and even next week against Kansas State.
Very much so.
Those are my keys to the game.
I agree.
Ben, your predictions for the Tigers and their leaders in every category.
Brady Cook,
Obviously.
passing, rushing, Cody Schrader, and receiving.
Hang on. Give me the yardage. Come on now.
Brady Cook, over 250 passing yards.
Whoa!
Cody Schrader, over 145 rushing yards. And receiving,
I mean, I don't know why you're questioning receiving.
Because I keep thinking, like, man, when are we going to get the Theo Weiss breakout game?
I don't think it'll be this week.
But I think we're going to go with Luther Burden.
I have a different game circled on the calendar for Theo's breakout game.
Luther Burden. We're going to go over 100 yards.
All right. Leading tackler for the Tigers.
The leading tackler will be, once again, the leading tackler I have being Ennis Rakestraw Jr., followed up by Johnny Walker Jr.
All right. You think the JR duo is going to lead the way for the Tigers? Interesting. I have Brady Cook as well for passing. However, I don't think 250 yards. That's being very wishful think. That's a lot of wishful thinking there for Brady Cook. I will say that he will go for almost 200, but I'm thinking like 196. 196.
That's fair.
196, two or three. We'll call it 3 touchdowns for him. No picks.
Total or passing?
Passing. I think he'll have another one on the ground, so he'll have 4 total. It's going to be he's going to scramble in the pocket because the presser's going to get there, and he's going to bust open because, again, they'll drop like 5 in coverage and blitz 6 or something like that, because that's what Middle Tennessee State likes to do. Middle Tennessee State does not contain that well in the quarterback, so I can see Brady breaking free and running for quite a few yards. I think Schrader is also going to lead them. However, I don't think it's going to be that 145 or whatever the hell you said he was going to have. I think it'll be closer to 100, maybe. I'm thinking maybe like 95, because he's going to be helping pass pro a lot more this game. Leading wide receiver, I agree with you. It's going to be Luther Burden. I think he's going to have like 85, though. Brady's going to spread the ball out a little bit more. There's going to be a lot more screens because Middle Tennessee State loves to bring pressure. And what breaks up pressure a lot and force you to stop doing that? Screen passes. Because then when you start doing screen passes, you can run the ball a little bit more. Tackling, I think it's going to be Johnny Walker. I really do. I think he's the hot hand. I like him a lot. Wasn't too sure about him when the season began and off season. I think he's the truth. I think him and Hopper are a great duo right there on the defense and that linebacking core. And I think he could keep bringing it. I think he might even get another sack this week. I think it's going to be him, Rackshaw, and who else do I think is going to get a sack for the Tigers? You know what? Fuck it. I think Gaddy's going to get a sack all by himself this week. I also think Mevis is going to go perfect on field goals this week. He's going to put 2 through, so he's going to be 50% on the year. So how do you like them apples, sir? Sir?
Nice.
Time to predict the scores. We obviously got our predictions wrong last week, as we both said Mizzou would go over 50 points scored, but I got the score a little bit closer by saying South Dakota would score 10. So, Ben, mailbag.
38.
Hang on, mailbag before we get to predictions.
You got anything?
Do you not have anything in the comments?
No comments this week.
All right. Remember, folks, we have that mailbag open for you every week. Predictions, Ben?
Mizzou 38, Middle Tennessee 16.
16. I think the offense is going to get a little bit stronger because it's just going to be one quarterback playing the whole week this week. I'm going to say Mizzou 45. Here's where I'm going to struggle, is trying to figure out how much Middle Tennessee is actually going to put up. Because I think Mizzou's defense is not that far off from Bama this year. I'm going to say Mizzou 45, Middle Tennessee State 13. I think Mizzou lets them get 2 field goals, and that's why. So, that's my prediction. So, I know my math doesn't exactly check out for Harrison Mevis to have 2 field goals, but I wasn't going to say 48 because I don't think Mizzou's going to do that. 45 sounds like a good number for this team. So, there you go. Ben, anything else you would like to say before your trip to LSU this week? You traitor, you're going to the wrong Tiger game this week. Explain to the fans at home what's going on that.
Tigers supporting Tigers.
Yes.
I am going to see LSU beat the dirt out of Grambling State, watch 2 great bands play at a football game, and we'll be staying at my friend Luke from the SEC Tuba Chats place for the weekend. I am very excited. All we've been talking about, like, the past 2 weeks is just this. He's super excited to have me down, and I'm super excited to be there because I've never been down there before.
I will say this. Louisiana is beautiful this time of year.
And he said, because I have 2 LSU shirts in my closet right now, funny enough.
So you're going to be wearing both.
So I have this year's College World Series shirt, and then I also have the 2019 National Champions shirt as well.
I would wear the National Champion shirt down there to the game.
That's what I was going to do.
Yep.
Because my friend Luke told me to wear the College World Series shirt for the game. But, he said that by wearing that, I could probably pretty easily sneak into the student section if I wanted to.
Fair.
But
Anyway.
I'll be sitting in the section right next to the band, and things are looking good.
You will have footage, no doubt, on the channel. You said on Big Time Talkers that this might be a movie. Well,
it might certainly be, considering one of the people in the vehicle when I get picked up from the airport just before midnight on Friday will be drunk and wearing a toga, as I said earlier.
Won't that be something? That'll
Welcome
be over
to Louisiana.
Over on the same. That's on here on Elite Tiger Sports. Over on the B Card channel coming out, as we are after this video when this video comes out, 2 weeks away from Mizzou versus Memphis down on the Dome in St. Louis.
Oh, and Brock, to let you know, we've been invited to a friend of mine's tailgate at that game.
For Mizzou Memphis?
Yes.
All right. Nothing for Mizzou K-State yet?
I know nothing about that, but
Well, we went to a tailgate for Mizzou K-State up in Manhattan. I didn't know if we had one for Mizzou K-State.
not that
Columbia.
I don't know anyone that goes to K-State, bro, to be completely honest with you.
I know, but this is like Mizzou fans, though. I didn't know if you had any knew any Mizzou fans that would be tailgating.
But the tailgate for there in St. Louis is my friend. She goes to Memphis. So.
Okay.
Because I met her whenever I went down to Florida the week after graduation, and she had a Dale Earnhardt Jr. beach towel, and I'm like,
that's based as hell.
For sure.
Based as hell. Anyway, as I was saying, over on the B Card channel, as we are 2 weeks away from Memphis versus Mizzou, Tommy will be buying his Mizzou gear to wear down to the game, as he has to select his what he's wearing for that game as part of his punishment. And I do believe you have an update on the voting for the his punishment, and I have an update on that as well. But so
am I able to access that through the?
Yes, you are. It'll be under Community on your phone in the app.
Oh.
So be on the lookout here on the B Card YouTube channel, as that is be up over there, him buying that, and the pained expression that he will be having on that, because he is a diehard Nebraska Cornhuskers fan and now newly found LSU Tigers fan. So he is going to have to suffer for that. Also, I have confirmation that my father, who is a Jayhawks fan and also a K-State fan, for this game for Mizzou K-State when he's coming with us. Ben, do you want to guess what he is wearing?
Wait, what is this?
My father, who's coming to the Mizzou K-State game.
He'll be coming to the game with us?
Yes. Nice. Who's a KU and K-State fan, as I've mentioned. Have I mentioned on the podcast that I'm the only Mizzou fan in my family? I know I've given the story about how I became a Tigers fan, but have I told anyone that I'm the only Mizzou fan in my family?
I can't remember.
Okay, well, I'm the only Mizzou fan in my family. The rest of my family are all Jayhawks. Gross. But however, my father was born in Lawrence.
Yuck.
My father was born in Lawrence, Kansas. So it's understandable for him. His father went to KU. His uncle went to KU. So they're all Jayhawks from that side, or on my dad's side. My mom's side, same thing. The only exception is my grandmother, who, strangely enough, is a Tennessee fan.
Base.
I don't know how. That's why I have my only Tennessee hat, is from her.
Oh.
So
We do have the leading vote right now, Brock, with 2 votes.
oh boy. Well, you say this and then I'll have an update on that.
Tommy, as what it currently says, will have to be wearing Tiger face paint to the game in St. Louis.
So I have an update on that. We will not be doing the face paint. Nothing
Okay.
touches his face. So it is going to be either be the sign or leading the MIZ chant. I'm leaning towards the sign.
I was thinking the chant would be kind of funny to get him recording him saying that.
And he has to do it multiple times whenever we tell him. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
But I also think the sign, and I think he should bring a Cody Shredder sign.
Yeah.
That'd be funny. Anyway. Reminder, folks, these are the Mizzou games that you can see us attend. And if you want to come up to us, and if you're at any of these games, you can say hi to us. September 16th, myself and Mr. Benjamin Duncan will be in Columbia for Mizzou K-State. September 23rd, we will be in St. Louis for Mizzou Memphis. December 17th, we will be in Kansas City at the Sprint Center for Mizzou versus Seton Hall. And it is currently undecided, but I might be at the October 7th game with Mr. Tommy Haley for Mizzou LSU.
Nice.
Whether Ben will can join us or not is undecided at this time. We are still in the works of talking about it. For any updates,
I'm already going to that game because I have my ticket.
That's
for
true.
It.
So okay, there you go. So Ben will be at the Mizzou LSU game as well, October 7th. Just in a different area. What did you say? I saw the shirts
those dropped
already.
too, if you hadn't seen it.
I have, and I may or may not have that ready to order along with a Mizzou flag. That is in the style of the Mizzou, or the Missouri State flag. So, anyway.
Beautiful.
Ben, where can you be found on Twitter?
I can be found at EliteTigerSports 1.
Holy crap, speak up. We can barely hear you. Barely hear you.
I can be found at EliteTigerSports 1. The E, the T, and the S are capitalized.
I can be found on Twitter at BrockGorton99. The B and G are capitalized. Follow B Card Entertainment on Twitter at B_card_ENT. Check out the B Card Entertainment website at b-cardentertainment.com. As I was getting ready to say, we will have an updated calendar as to all the events that you can find us at, as well as all the articles that we write. Ben, other than that, do you have anything else?
I got nothing. I need to go to bed.
I can tell I've seen how tired you've gotten here all of a sudden. I have nothing else. I've been Brock Gorton.
I've been Benjamin Duncan.
And as surely as the Tigers keep winning and earning their stripes, we are too, earning ours. Have a wonderful rest of your day, folks. MIZ.
See ya.